Hey guys, today we are talking about the #1 challenge facing small businesses. Now, I know what you're going to say. There's a ton of #1 challenges, but this one seems to come up over and over again. It happened in our company, which we've been doing for about 10 years now, and a bunch of our friends own businesses too. And the same thing keeps happening over and over, and we're going to talk about it. When you have a small business and you're trying to make something out of nothing, and you have only a couple people, might even start with you, then like maybe a partner, and then a few employees. Everyone ends up in everyone else's department. There aren't defined roles. Nobody knows exactly what their job description is because you do a little bit of this and then that pops up and you do some of that and then it just repeats. And over time it gets more and more difficult to control.
Yeah, and usually after it gets super clunky, you realize it's like, I can't do this anymore. I don't know what I'm doing here. This person over here doesn't know what I'm doing. Everybody's touching everything, which is such a disaster. I mean, the last thing you want is for 5 people to spend time on one individual task. So one thing that we developed early on was an organizational chart, and I highly recommend it for you. We can share one of our organizational charts, and we highly recommend it for everybody. But
sure.
Spend a day on a whiteboard, on a piece of paper, and just brain dump the future of what you see for your operation. If you have C-level positions, you can do that. CEO, COO, whatever it is, and then maybe you have salespeople, account managers, whatever it is. The next thing you know, you have this whole hierarchy chain, a nice, pretty organizational chart. Now, if you're a one-man operation, you're going to put your name next to every one of those jobs. You're going to be the CEO, you're going to be the bookkeeper, you're going to be the sales rep, the sales manager.
Yep.
Sweeping the floors, whatever.
For sure. Like, you can be in every department, especially when you start, but at least have departments and know what they are. And putting this on a whiteboard is what we like to use. Visually seeing what's going on is going to bring a lot of meaning for you. When it's just in your head and stuff like that, it's right. Unclear. It's hard to wrap your brain around it. But when you see it, you're going to see exactly why everything's so haywire. And a clear way to fix it.
Yeah, and another big tip related to that is color code people. So maybe you're the color red, this person over here is the color green, and next thing you know, it's not just looking at text and visual boxes of all the different departments and all the different jobs, but you're also looking at color things, and there could be a trend of like, okay, everything on this side is red. Okay, well that's because it's the sales department. We don't have anybody for that, so we overlap it. When Chris and I started, although we developed the organizational chart kind of early on by necessity, we realized we overlapped in positions. In our lending company, there's 2 sides. There's, let's call it the front end and the back end. There's the origination, the sales, getting deals in the door, and then there's back end, investor relations, bookkeeping, servicing loans, and things like that. And early on, we got in a bad habit of whoever's relationship it was would spend time. So if Chris brought in a deal, he would run the deal. If I brought in a private investor, I'd run the private investor. And then sometimes it was like, oh, this is a friend of ours, and then we both overlapped. And that is a real easy way to get yourself in a bind. And the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be to untangle and unravel things to get it back to normal.
Yeah. So here's what should happen over time. After you do have your organizational chart and departments and clearly laid out, even if you as the business owner are in a bunch of them, over time, as your team grows, as your company grows, you will be pulling yourself out of different departments. Like, you might pull yourself out of sales, even though you were there once. Although a lot of business owners are going to want to stay in sales, and that's cool. You might pull yourself out of accounting, even though you started doing your own bookkeeping like I did. And as your team grows, you're going to be in fewer departments. And that allows you to focus on the CEO stuff, the CEO level stuff, and whatever you decide your strengths might be, instead of having to touch every single department.
Yeah, exactly. And don't worry if you're not 100% sure what to set up. Just set up what's in your mind right now of how you see it now, maybe how you see it down in the future as well, because keep in mind, you're going to update this stuff periodically. Our original one, we had 5 sales teams, we had sales managers, and we realized, if you know our company right now, we have one sales guy. We could call them whatever we want, business development, sales manager, sales rep, whatever, on the chart. So we're periodically changing these things as we see fit, and we may update it as we say, okay, well, let's try to grow into this. But the important part of all of this is put it on a piece of paper, put it on a whiteboard, label it out. Feel free to reach out to us at jason@hardmoneybankers.com, and happy to share what our current organizational chart works on, because we're looking at it regularly and it's super important.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we see it over and over again. So yeah, first things first, just get it onto paper, get it onto the whiteboard, and you'll have a much better idea of the mess that you've created in a good way.
If this is an issue you have, or an issue that someone else that a small business owner has, please share this video with them. they got to watch it. It's super important. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Until next time, thanks guys.